Broadcasting.
The time is 12 o'clock. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates new United Kingdom Prime Minister Liz Truss. INEC reviews voting guidelines for IDP camps. FCTA approves new NYSC camp in Abuja. On the foreign scene, Ugandan landslides kill at least 10 amid heavy rains. In sports, Chelsea suffers 1-0 defeat to Dynamo Zagreb at the Champions League. Good afternoon. This is a live news update on Human Rights Radio and Television. I am Harirat Ismaila. Details of this and many more shortly. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Liz Truss on her assumption of office as new British Prime Minister. The president, in the statement issued on Tuesday by his media aide Femi Adesina, rejoiced with the former Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs of the United Kingdom, adding that her antecedents in government, politics and diplomacy will further shape and strengthen relations with Nigeria and other countries. He noted that the shared ties between Nigeria and Britain remain strong, positive and mutually beneficial, while working with us to deepen that relationship in the interests of both countries. President Buhari also commended the warmth and friendliness of the immediate past Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, wishing him the best in his future endeavors. Meanwhile, Truss has unveiled her new top team with no place for white men in any of the three senior-most cabinet posts for the first time ever. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced a review of the electoral framework for voters and internally displaced persons camps ahead of the 2023 general elections as a result of the passage of the 2022 Electoral Act and the introduction of new technologies. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed it in Abuja at the presentation of the 2023 draft guidelines for voters in IDP camps, noting that the aim is to align the framework with the provisions of the new electoral laws and ensure that no citizen is disenfranchised. Some of the proposals in the draft guidelines include the use of bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) in the IDP camps, which must be configured to polling unit level only. Although the voting population in the IDP camps is unknown, recent data from the United Nations Refugees Agency reveals that there are over 2.1 million IDPs in Nigeria, including children. The Ondo State government has provided support for the victims of June 5 attack at St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, Owo, assuring members of the public of accountability and transparency. The chairman of the Donation Management Committee, Wale Akinterunwa, who led other members of the committee to Owo, said the move is in fulfillment of the promise made by Governor Rotimi Akeredolu to give required support to all the victims of the attack. Akeredolu, who revealed that the committee collated the names and addresses of all the victims, families of the deceased and the injured based on the funds received into the account so far, added that each of the families of the deceased and the injured had been given cash gifts. He further said that the disbursements will continue if more funds are received into the account. About 15 children have been rescued from a child trafficking ring in Port Harcourt by officers of the Rivers State Police Command. This was disclosed on Tuesday at a press briefing by the Commissioner of Police, Friday Oboka, at the State Police Headquarters, where a fake Reverend Sister, who is believed to be at the center of the child trafficking ring in the state, was paraded. The CP, who also paraded other suspects involved in car and motorcycle theft, kidnapping, drug peddling, and gun running, said investigations are ongoing as some of the children have been reunited with their parents. The Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) has approved the construction of a new permanent orientation camp of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) in Kwali. The FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Benlo announced this on Tuesday at the meeting of the NYSC National Governing Board, with chairman of the state governing boards adding that a new secretariat complex is also being constructed in pursuance of the administration's determination to ease the operations of the NYSC in the FCT. The minister, who was represented by the secretary of the FCT NYSC Governing Board, Hadiza Kabir, urged all stakeholders not to relegate their roles to the federal government alone, as the NYSC scheme is the responsibility of government at all levels. Speaking at the meeting, the chairperson of the governing board, Fatima Abubakar, expressed concern over the challenges facing the organization despite its achievements in fostering national unity. On his part, the NYSC Director General, Brigadier General Mohammed Fada, commended all the stakeholders for their immeasurable support that translated for the modest achievements of the scheme. You can follow all our programs live at Bracketed TV on channel 110 and Human Rights TV on channel 113, all on TSTV. You can also catch us live on the internet on YouTube and Facebook with the handles Human Rights Radio TV and Bracketed TV. Stay connected to the station redefining broadcasting. Now to the rest of the news. Ugandan authorities say that at least 10 people have been killed as a result of landslides triggered by heavy rain in Kasese in the western part of the country, while some homes were also washed away by floodwaters that tore through the area located on the foothills of the Wenzori Mountains. A spokesperson for the Uganda Red Cross says that 6 people were injured in the landslides in Rukoki following torrential rains, while a yet-to-be-ascertained number of people are feared missing. The region, which is prone to landslides, left 3 people dead last week in Bundumbog district. The rainy season, which normally begins in August, has resulted in devastation in parts of the country this year. Early last month, at least 24 people died after rivers in eastern Uganda burst their banks, and several parts of East Africa have experienced severe weather this year, from long droughts to destructive rains and flooding. And now to business news. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has called for the sack of the Director of Finance of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Council, FCCPC, Akinyogo Ojo. The committee chairman, James Faleke, made the call on Tuesday at a public hearing in Abuja as part of its interaction with government agencies and ministries to arrive at suitable parameters for the medium-term expenditure framework 2023 to 2025. The committee said the finance director allegedly engaged in extra budgetary spending. The committee also asked the Accountant General of the Federation to block the FCCPC's account. And moving away from business news to the world of sports. Chelsea has slumped to a surprise 1-0 defeat away to Dynamo Zagreb on Tuesday in their opening game of the Champions League group stage. Mislav Orjic scored the only goal in 13 minutes for Zagreb as the Croatian champions extended their unbeaten run at Stadion Maksimir to 20 matches in all competitions. Rhys James hit the post later on as Thomas Tuchel's side, who were European champions the season before last, made a poor start to Group E, which includes AC Milan and Red Bull Salzburg. And so in sports news, Manchester City has begun its quest to finally win the Champions League this season with a 4-0 thrashing of Sevilla. Red-hot striker Erling Haaland, who opened scoring for the Premier League champions in the first half before Phil Foden doubled their lead, scored again before Ruben Dias rounded off the scoring. Meanwhile, Real Madrid also beat Celtic 3-0 following goals from Vinicius Junior, Luka Modric and Eden Hazard. Similarly, Paris Saint-Germain survived a second-half fight from Juventus to win 2-1 at the Parc des Princes. Kylian Mbappe's brace gave the League One champions a comfortable lead before Mark Kempney pulled one back for the Italians. And to end the live news updates on Human Rights Radio and Television, here is a recap of the main stories. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates new United Kingdom Prime Minister Liz Truss. INEC reviews the voting guidelines for IDP camps. FCTA approves new NYSC camp in Abuja. On the foreign scene, Ugandan landslides kill at least 10 amid heavy rains. In sports, Chelsea suffers 1-0 defeat to Dynamo Zagreb at the Champions League. This bulletin was produced by Novlin Uwankwo at the newsroom and Muhammad Sani Babangida at the MCR of the Human Rights Media City News Center. I am Harirat Ismaila. Good afternoon.